Hey, this is James Pelton, and as the markets have been down, the markets have really been struggling. It kind of causes you to zoom out a little bit, and there's times where in the markets you can basically put your money into anything and make money. Okay, when the markets are going up, I remember back in like October of last year, you could literally get in any project and you were going to make a lot of money. Okay, and that's just not where the markets have been. Again, I believe we've been in a bear market since November. That's when we hit last time highs for Bitcoin. So when the markets are kind of rough like this, it causes me to kind of zoom out a little bit and focus on what do I believe in long term. And so I've really been looking for projects. I'm still looking for passive income, but I'm looking for projects that I believe in long term. So that's going to be blue chip coins, like Bitcoin and Ethereum and DAG and Flux. Thanks to your friend Andy for putting me on the Flux, Ripple, those types of things, and stable coins. Okay, so that's what I've been focusing my projects on, or hey, what are getting me a return? And it's based around either some really cool utility or Bitcoin, Ethereum, DAG, or stable coins. Okay, something that I believe in long term. And so that's what brought me into BTC Proxy. BTC Proxy is a protocol where you stake custodianship of your Bitcoin to BTC Proxy's partners, which would be like Gemini and companies like that. They have insurance policies in place. Those companies do. So if there's an exploit or something like that, those types of things are covered while it's staked there. Then they provide you with a synthetic Bitcoin. So you give custodianship of your Bitcoin and they use it for their purposes. They give you a synthetic Bitcoin token called BTC Proxy that you can then stake for 115% APY. And I'll show you how that works here in a little bit. So essentially, it's a fairly low risk way to get 115% APY on your Bitcoin, which again, I believe in as a long-term thing. I have an AMA with Don Kim, the founder of BTC Proxy, really smart guy. So again, that's something you always like to see is it's fully doxed team, again, got their LinkedIn profiles. I don't believe this is one that you need to worry about rugging, or I'll be on Don about that. And stay tuned to the end because BTC Proxy has 100 NFTs. They have a new NFT they're launching, and they gave me 100 to give out to my audience. So we'll talk about at the end how you can do that. So you have to watch to the end or skip ahead. Don't cheat though. Watch the AMA. Don's a good guy. I tried to keep this AMA fairly brief. At the end too, I'll kind of show you how you can get started. So you can bond in, and I'll show you how all that works at the end. So for now, let's go ahead and watch my AMA with Don Kim from BTC Proxy. This is James Pelton, and I am here with Don Kim, who is the founder of BTC Proxy. Thank you, Don, for coming. I appreciate you hopping on my channel. Could you start by just introducing yourself and giving a little bit of your background?
Thank you, James, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here to talk about the protocol. What BTC Proxy is, it is an institutional Bitcoin liquidity protocol. And so the narrative is all about owning BTC, holding BTC. So our protocol sort of answers the question after that. What do you do with your BTC after you've got it? So we take it a step further, and we provide a safe custody solution to stake your BTC and earn passive income from it.
Okay, very cool. And yeah, I think that's super interesting. And I'm actually going to share your website here just so people can kind of see. There we go. So yeah, the problem, I hold a bunch of Bitcoin and don't really consider it passive income, right? Because you're holding it, and especially over the last, 3 or 4 months, it's not gone up at all. And so I'm just holding it there. I have, $120,000 just sitting there that's not providing me passive income. So a protocol like yours is really interesting. Yeah, maybe can you just walk through how this works? Like, what do you have to do? How can you get this 115% APY?
So basically, the problem with Bitcoin is that it's not really built on a protocol where it is able to interact with DeFi. And so we provided just a solution that enables you to stake it into an insured custodian, enabling institutions and individuals alike to safely custody their Bitcoin. We're working with Fireblocks, Hex Trust, Gemini, and currently now we're onboarding with Binance. And once you stake it into custody, it mints you a synthetic called Proxy Bitcoin. And that is on the Polygon chain, which is used to stake into different contracts or products to enable you to earn that 115% APY, which is in our governance token. And also, you can earn real Bitcoin from the staking of that Bitcoin proxy as well.
Okay, very cool. And can you talk about what it means when it says insured? Because I've interviewed a few other protocols that give you some kind of an APY on the Bitcoin, but this is the first time I've seen insured. So can you talk about what that means?
Yeah, so the custody providers that we work with, they all have insurance policies that protect the Bitcoin in their possession. These entities are usually licensed and regulated by their financial bodies in their countries. And Hex Trust is based out of Hong Kong, Gemini out of the US, and Binance, well, they have multiple jurisdictions. And they all provide a blanket insurance policy on all the assets that they hold. So when you are interacting with our protocol, you're not sending it to us, you're sending it to the provider directly. And once it gets there, it's covered under their policy.
So can you talk about some of the partnerships that you have in place? Again, often I see on projects that they have partners, but sometimes the partnerships are not really partnerships. They're just like, oh, one time they talked about us. Can you talk about some of your partnerships and what you have going on there?
Yeah, so the partners that we've listed, we used to have the VCs or the early providers that funded us when we launched, but no longer. The partners that you see on there are either custody providers or liquidity providers for the protocol. So the most significant one that we have is blockchain.com. As you know, blockchain.com started in 2013. I hope I'm right about that. And they have 83 million wallets. And they originally started as Bitcoin infrastructure, creating the first block explorer for Bitcoin. And they have one of the original Bitcoin wallets. And going into their company a little, they just have a lot of Bitcoin, and they have also a need to do something with it. And so they found that our protocol fit with their needs, which was to also earn a little yield on their holdings.
Okay, and then could you talk about the NFTs? So I've heard that you have NFTs coming out. Could you talk about what those are going to do, what the function behind those is going to be?
The NFTs are part of a larger campaign, which is to educate Bitcoin holders that there is an option to do something with that Bitcoin instead of just holding it. The campaign is called BTC on Polygon, and that's in conjunction with Polygon. Polygon is providing some incentives in Matic tokens for every minter that goes through the protocol, so that there's a little bit of Matic in place, but also just to spread the word and to get the message out there, we created a commemorative NFT in a limited edition amount, which sort of just commemorates the partnerships and the campaign. So to just spread the word. There's no real function for these NFTs, but they do have commemorative value, which a lot of coins or tokens were meant to do.
Yes, and I hear there's a giveaway of these NFTs. Is that correct?
There is a giveaway. So we randomly have different giveaways, and if you tune into our Twitter or our AMAs, there are giveaways pretty much every day. Also through your channel, we're giving away 100 NFTs to I don't know the details, but we're giving them to James so you can go and claim them from him directly.
Yes, and I'm going to give them to my favorite 100 people. No, I'll do some kind of random giveaway or something like that. So when you're looking at these programs, could you talk about like what the different risk might be between, obviously this one gets you 115% APY, this one gets you 54% APY. Can you talk about just how people should be thinking about the different risks that might be involved, between those two?
The first one that's rewarding 54%, I believe it is, that's the old one. So you should be moving out of that one into the higher one. So you should unstake from that pool and go into the V2. The V2 is the one that enables you to claim and stake the rewards as they are earned into the compounding pool. The first one doesn't have that capability, so we lowered the rate to de-incentivize staying in there to go into the higher one. The token that is staked is Proxy Bitcoin. So that is obviously obtained by minting when you deposit your real Bitcoin into custody.
Could you talk about what are the potential risks? I think, it sounds just like almost too good to be true. I was making nothing on my Bitcoin and then now I get to make 115%. Could you talk about what potential risks there might be?
Well, the biggest risks in DeFi seem to happen on cross-chain bridges. And you've seen a lot of hacks happen when you see assets crossing over from one chain to another. There's some sort of vulnerability. But in our case, the Bitcoin is actually deposited into a multi-sig wallet at the custodian. And so for that Bitcoin to come out, it needs multiple signers. And so for Bitcoin, I think that's the safest way to hold it. But our protocol is integrated into that custodian. So when the Bitcoin hits the custodial wallet, our smart contract detects it and mints you the collateral token, which is Proxy Bitcoin, which is then used. And when you stake it into one of these programs, you always get another collateral token, so you can always keep track of what you have staked. And so the risk for this, it is just exposing your keys. There is a little downside risk, with the fluctuating token price in the reward token, but there is no real risk to your Bitcoin. And so those are pretty much the main risks. As long as you have your Proxy Bitcoin in your wallet, you can always get your Bitcoin back out of the custodian.
So probably the biggest risk is just the price of Bitcoin going down. It would probably be the biggest risk in this. Could you maybe just help me understand? You kind of touched on it earlier, but maybe, so like where does the return come from?
That return, so let me start with Bitcoin. So you can earn, when you stake Proxy Bitcoin, you can earn either Bitcoin or you can earn the governance token. The governance token is minted, so from the contract directly. And as your rewards stay in the contract, when your Proxy Bitcoin is in the contract, the rewards are minted directly from the protocol. And our challenge is to provide enough liquidity so that it trades fairly smoothly without too much price discrepancy. That's our challenge at the moment. For Bitcoin rewards, the way that that's generated is as Bitcoin is moved through the protocol, fees are earned. So there's small redemption and minting fees that we accumulate in the treasury, and that is rewarded for the farming of Bitcoin. There's other ways that we also raise that Bitcoin to be farmed, but yeah, we can go into that at a later time. But yeah, our protocol is about raising Bitcoin to be farmed. The rewards come every block, Polygon block. And so as it's staked, you'll see the rewards accumulate almost every couple of seconds.
Okay, very cool. And does that APY change very much?
It'll change time to time, but that is a blended rate between a simple interest and the compounding. So what you got to do is you have to claim and stake every once in a while. So as it accumulates, you want to put it into the higher yielding compounding. And there's a button that shows up as you accumulate rewards for you to do that.
Okay, very cool. Maybe last question might be, what's on the roadmap going forward? Like, what are you guys excited about coming up?
So the strategy going forward, people have been always sort of grumbling about what we're doing for marketing. So we do have a strategy in place, and it's interesting. We're going to be partnering up with, because we did a sort of analysis of when projects get the most interaction with the public. It's during their IDO or their launch. And what we're going to be doing is going back to these launch platforms and offering our bonds. And what we're doing with those bonds is asking the, and we're giving a higher return on the proxy token than what is currently available on the marketplace. In return, if they fund that with our BTC PX token. So what that does is it gets the protocol in use, and people will mint more, increase the TVL more in return for vesting it for a little bit and getting a high, like we're thinking about 100% return on their proxy when they do, participate in the secondary launch.
Okay. Well, very cool. Well, Don, I appreciate your time again, just hopping on and walking through things again. Again, I'll try to get this video out later this week, and I think it'll be great. Like I'm having a hard time seeing why I wouldn't. I have 2 Bitcoins sitting on Nexo.io right now, and I think they get 7% annual return, and it's hard for me to see why I wouldn't move those. Like why not do that? So yeah, very, very cool and nice work.
No problem, and thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate the discussion.
Yeah, you as well, Don. And yeah, let me know if there's anything, if you want to come back on for new announcements, or if you need me to tweet something out, let me know, and I'm happy to get some eyes on your project. So
thank you very much.
Yep, thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks for watching that AMA. Don's always fun. Very, very smart guy. Always fun to talk with him. So 2 things I want to do now. I want to show you how you can get involved if you would like. And then I would also like to talk about the giveaway at the end. So if you're wanting to get involved, again, really the 2 ways to make money are you can get 115% on your Bitcoin, which I'll show you, or you can get 1,500% APY on their PRXY token. Okay, so obviously that's going to be riskier. That's not on Bitcoin itself. That's on this protocol. So if you believe in the protocol, this will get you a higher APY. But if you just want to go blue chip, Bitcoin, 115%, here's how you do that. So make it pretty easy. You just go to Mint BTC PX, this button here, and it'll take you to this page. You have to connect your wallet. And you can choose if you want. So basically, you're going to be minting. You're going to send them custodianship of your Bitcoin, and they give you a BTC Proxy token that gets 115% APY, okay? So you're going to choose how much Bitcoin that you want to send. So let's say you have 1 Bitcoin you want to send over. You'll get 0.999 Bitcoin proxy. So it's pretty much a 1-for-1 exchange with a little bit of fees taken out. You can choose if you want it on Ethereum or Polygon. I, of course, would recommend Polygon because it's much, much cheaper. I don't really know a reason that you would do it on Ethereum instead, but maybe you want to do that. Then you click next, and it'll generate a Bitcoin deposit address. And they say do not send Bitcoin directly from an exchange. I'm not 100% sure why that is, probably just a little bit safer, but you can go just create like a blockchain.com and you can create a Bitcoin wallet here. The blockchain.com has a wallet, a free wallet you can use, so I'll send a link to that. So then you're going to send that Bitcoin from your wallet to this address, and it'll take a little bit, but you'll receive your BTC PX token. Okay, so then in your wallet, you'll have a BTC Proxy token. Okay, so basically they have custodianship now, you have a Proxy token. And then you're going to want to stake that. So you just go to programs and you're going to do this interest-bearing BTC Proxy for 115%. So you're going to have to approve the stake, put in max of all your BTC Proxy, stake it. Then when you're ready to claim, you'll start getting that 115% APY, and then you can claim it out. You can sell it, or you can just claim and restake it to get that. Again, the 115% is compounding. So that's the easiest way to get involved. That's just putting your Bitcoin to work here. And then when you're ready to take it out, you can just go to up here to redeem. So again, you're minting BTC Proxy tokens, then you can redeem them back for Bitcoin, and then you can sell them or whatever you want to do after that. So that's the easiest way to get involved. Now, if you're wanting to get involved in the protocol itself, I always look for these bonds because you can put in BTC Proxy here and you get an 8.25% return in 15 days. You basically, with bonding, you put in a token and then it vests for a certain number of days, then you get a discount, okay? So you can put in your BTC Proxy and then you'll get proxy tokens, okay? So again, the difference is if you put, and then you can stake your proxy tokens for 1,500% APY. Okay, so again, the difference is if you get these, you mint these BTC Proxy tokens, you can either keep them safe and just get a 115% on your BTC, or you can go a little bit riskier and get 1,500% on the protocol itself. Okay, and you don't have to bond BTC Proxy. You can bond just USDC in here as well. So again, the protocol for that is you just click bond and you're going to approve. You're going to stick in USDC. USDC gets you 7.25% return in 15 days. So it's just up to you how, again, how degen, how risky do you want to get in this? But what I'm really interested in is just 115% on your BTC. So again, if you're looking at my retirement spreadsheet, I see, so the proxy, staking the proxy token for the 1,500% APY would be in this DeFi column, whereas just staking the Bitcoin would probably be here, or maybe even here. I mean, it depends how you feel about Bitcoin itself. Some people love Bitcoin. I would guess, the way I think through it, if you look ahead 1 year or 2 years or 5 years, Bitcoin's still going to be around and it's going to be worth a lot more than it is now. So if you're looking to generate wealth, I think Bitcoin would be a good way to do it. Whereas this proxy token, I'm not as confident about that going, 5 years out or something like that. So that might be more in this bucket. So maybe you start with the, this 1,500% APY to generate enough to sell to get into some Bitcoin for some BTC Proxy. It just depends all on your strategy. Just so you guys kind of know, my end goal is probably maybe to have maybe 3 or 4 Bitcoin. And I'll probably put at least half of it on here. Again, I don't like to put everything in one place, but I mean 115% compared to, again, if I keep it on, Celsius or something like that, you get 6% or something like that. So if I'm going to hold so much Bitcoin, I'd like to see it do something. Again, as we've seen other protocols, the token price go to 0. Could that happen with their PRXY token? I don't think so, because they're actually generating revenue, through this. They're actually doing something. But it could happen for sure. So I hope that's helpful for you. I want to talk now about the giveaway. So they have a new NFT that they are launching. So they're these, and again, they're commemorative, so we don't know exactly, what value they're going to have or things like that. But anytime you get a free NFT, I think it's worth it. So, and there's a limited amount, and then they're totally out. They've given 100 of the 10,000 to the James Pelton community. So I want to give that on to you. Again, I'm not going to keep all 100. So if you'd like one of those, I actually have a Gleam that I'm setting up, and some of you don't like Gleam, but I have a new social media company, and we've started an Instagram and a TikTok. So there's ways you can enter to win one of these 100 NFTs by getting involved there. So I'll put the link to that Gleam in this video as well. So anyways, I hope this all was helpful for you. Please do let me know if you have questions or need help getting started. But as always, hope you all have a great rest of your day.